Hi, Courtney here of Creations by Courtney, the place where you'll find size-inclusive garment patterns, accessories, as well as tutorials so I can help the modern crocheter curate the handmade closet. Hi, Courtney here with another stitch tutorial. This one is the Crimp Stitch, which is the featured stitch of the Lewis Cozy Throw. Today I'm going to be using a size I or 5.5 millimeter hook. This is from the Bright Set by We Crochet. And I'm just going to be using some yarn from my stash. This is an acrylic and cotton blend. So to get started, we are going to make a slip knot. You can do that with your favorite method. And then we're going to chain a multiple of 4 plus 3. If you're not familiar with multiples, that means that the majority needs to be a number divided by the first number, and then the plus you add at the end, which usually represents like the turning chain. So here we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12. That's 3 repeats of 4 now plus 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So that gives us a chain of 15. Now, the other stitches that we're going to be using today are double crochet, front post double crochet, the right side, wrong side, and stitches. And again, this is at the beginning of the video, so make sure you go back and refer to that if needed, or hop over to my blog in order to check out the picture tutorial. So we're going to work in the 4th chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to make a double crochet. I always like to work into the back bump because it just gives a nice neat edge. So we're going to make a double crochet like so. And now we're going to double crochet in each chain to the end. All right, so this counts, the chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So yes, if you're going to do foundation double crochet, instead of doing a chain and then working through the chain, that's going to be a multiple of 4 plus 1. All right, so we have the foundation row, which is 13 double crochet. Now we are going to turn our work. You're going to chain 3. And this counts as the first double crochet here and throughout. And now you're going to work a front post double crochet around each stitch until 1 stitch remains. If you're not familiar with front post, you're going to yarn over and start your hook from front to back to front around the post of the stitch below. Yarn over, pull up a loop, so you have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're just going to repeat that until 1 stitch remains. after making the last front post double crochet, we're going to double crochet in the third chain of the first double crochet from row 1. So now that is row 2, and we're going to turn our work, and so it creates this really cool ridge, okay? So now we're going to chain 3. We're going to skip this stitch. Remember, the chain 3 counts as the first double crochet. So we're going to skip the next stitch here. And now we're going to double crochet in the next 2. So that's 1 and then 2. And from here, we're going to work in front of these 2 double crochet and do a front post double crochet around the skip stitch, and then we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. So let's front post, and so again it helps to kind of stretch it down around like so. To pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we're just going to double crochet in the next stitch here. And so now we're going to continue the repeat, which is we're going to skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that's 1. This is 2. Now we're going to front post double crochet around the skip stitch. And the first few rows may feel a little weird, especially in making a practice swatch, but this you definitely get a rhythm of. So after the front post double crochet, we're going to now double crochet in the next stitch. And let's do that again. Skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2. We're going to now front post double crochet around the skip stitch. And now we're going to double crochet in the last stitch. And so I'm going to show you on the next row how I prefer to work that first double crochet. So now we have 3 rows of the crimp stitch. Can you see that dimension? Look at that. Creates this really cool texture. Okay, now let's turn our work. And now we're just going to repeat row 2 and row 3 again. So rather than doing a chain 3, because as you saw, it was a little funky to work into the top of that, I like to do a chainless starting double crochet. So you pull up a loop. It helps to hold it. You can hold it with your index or your thumb. I tend to go with my thumb. I wrap it around, insert into the first stitch here, yarn over, pull up. Again, hold that loop, right? Yarn over, pull through the first loop, and that loop you first pulled up, yarn over and pull through 2. And so that's a pretty good faux double crochet if you ask me. So we have that. Now we're going to front post double around each stitch. So this is where it gets a little funky. So right here, this is that front post that's leaning from the previous row. So make sure you work around the right post. So it helps to kind of pull the stitches apart so you can get your hook around the post, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then complete your front post double crochet. And then we'll just continue to front post double crochet in each stitch until 1 stitch remains. So again, when you get to the previous front post, It helps to pull it apart a bit to make sure that you're working around the right post. And then you just keep going. All right, and when we get to that last stitch, we're just going to double crochet. So again, if it's a chain 3, I prefer to go under 2 loops. It just holds it in place better, like so. Just make your double crochet. And so what's cool about this stitch is that the back looks almost smooth, almost, but not quite. When you turn your work, you now get another ridge. Look at that. All right, so let's repeat row 3 together. And then I want you to practice a few rows. And we'll come back together after a few rows have been completed. So again, you could do a chain 3, or you can do a chainless starting double crochet. I just find it much neater looking. All right, so remember, you double crochet in the first stitch. Okay, you're going to skip this stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then front post double crochet around this skipped stitch. And then double crochet into the next stitch. So it helps to make sure that you kind of pull your work, that you can see where you're working, so that you don't stick this stitch in the wrong place and forget to skip. So remember, we're going to skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2, front post double crochet around the skip stitch, like so. And then double crochet in the next stitch. So because this pulls a bit, it can be really easy to work here. So make sure you're working into the next stitch. Skip a stitch, double crochet in the next 2. Front post double crochet around the skip stitch. And then double crochet in the last stitch. So this is that first chainless starting double crochet. See how much easier it is to identify the top of the stitch? This is why I love using it when I crochet, because that's so much easier. And let's take a look. So this is the basics steps. It's a 2-row repeat. You know, once you do that first row of double crochet, it's just a 2-row repeat, and you just keep going. So I want you to do a few more rows, and then we'll come back together and look at it when it's a little bit bigger. All right, so we've done a few more rows. Hopefully you have the hang of it and didn't miss any of these post stitches, especially when working this way. Again, it helps to kind of pull that apart so that you can grab that stitch. Now, depending on what row you want to end on, if you want to have another ridge, you can end with another row of front post, double crochet, and then I like the idea of doing a row of double crochet to just kind of wrap it all up. So if you're going to do another row, you can, of row 2, you could do so like this. Remember, work around that stitch. Front post, double crochet until there's 1 stitch remaining. at the end, remember, just place a double crochet in that last stitch. And this yarn definitely splits some. So this one, if you're following a pattern, definitely measure from the back of the piece, because this is a much smoother surface to try to measure from rather than the front. And so here you could stop there, because then you have a nice ridge each way, or you could do another row of double crochet, and this gives you a nice area to work with to create an edging if you're following the pattern for the Lewis Cozy Throw. So I hope you had fun hanging with me and learning how to crochet the crimp stitch. Such a fun texture. Look at that. I look forward, like seriously, if you practice this and you use a variegated yarn, definitely tag me. I want to see if these post stitches will really pop. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future tutorials or videos to help you with tricky parts of patterns and some more fiber fashion styling. I'll see you soon. Keep stitching.